Shedeur Sanders didn't just arrive in Cleveland. He earned his place. After a college career full of defining moments and a debut that had fans buzzing, his rise felt like a rare moment of clarity for a franchise-long star for stability. But that optimism is unraveling fast. Whispers about 2026 draft replacements and lukewarm support from leadership are shaking the confidence of those who believed Cleveland had finally found its guy. For fans, it's more than frustration, it's heartbreak. Because this time, the quarterback they've been waiting for might already be here. The emotional investment in Sanders isn't built on hope alone. It's grounded in what he's already shown. Leadership, efficiency, maturity. Yet if the Browns stay trapped in a cycle of chasing hypothetical futures, they risk alienating the very talent that could change theirs. To lose Sanders now wouldn't just be a setback. It would be a self-inflicted wound Cleveland may not recover from.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
The Cleveland Browns are doing it again, and everyone sees it coming this time. The fan base is watching, frustrated but not surprised, as the same cycle plays out once more. A promising young quarterback shows real flashes of leadership, talent, and growth, and the organization, instead of nurturing that potential, starts getting cold feet. Whispers start. Draft rumors bubble up. Analysts throw out vague assessments. And before you know it, the next name is on the board, and the guy under center is being treated like a temp. Right now, that quarterback is Shedeur Sanders. And Browns fans are begging the team not to screw it up. Sanders didn't walk into the league as just another rookie. He came in with a resume stacked with college production. Over 130 touchdowns, a 70% completion rate, and the poise of someone who's been doing this for longer than most players his age have had driver's licenses. From the moment he took his first NFL snap, he looked like he belonged. But rather than locking in and committing to development, the Browns are once again giving off wait and see energy. Except this time, there's a difference. The fans aren't having it. Because they've seen this movie before. Over and over. A young quarterback is drafted. The team hypes him up. Then he has a few rough patches, because that's normal. And suddenly the front office starts looking at the next big name in college. The coach offers half-hearted support. The media throws out cautious, calculated takes. And by the end of year 2, the quarterback is gone, and the franchise is starting over. It's a loop, and it's exhausting. What makes this so baffling is that Sanders isn't failing. He's thriving, at least relative to what any rookie quarterback should be expected to do. He's accurate. He's composed. He makes good decisions. He's already shown leadership qualities that can't be coached. And yet, there's talk of replacing him. Specifically, with the 2026 draft class, which, by the way, isn't even considered a standout group at the quarterback position. But that hasn't stopped people inside the building from reportedly eyeing new prospects. And it hasn't stopped voices like Mary Kay from downplaying Sanders' development and suggesting that a few starts aren't enough to know what you've got. That's not analysis. That's undermining. And this is exactly the problem. The Browns aren't just indecisive. They're impatient. They want a finished product overnight. And when they don't get one, they start shopping. They lean into media doubt instead of challenging it. They respond to growing pains not with support, but with silence. And that silence is loud. Head coach Kevin Stefanski hasn't done Sanders any favors either. He's yet to give a full-throated endorsement. There's been no strong declaration of confidence, just vague statements about competition and development and keeping options open. That might sound neutral on paper, but in context, it reads like doubt. And quarterbacks feel that. Everyone does. This isn't just about one player. It's about the message being sent to the entire team. If a guy like Shedeur, who's checking every box you want for a rookie quarterback, is already at risk of being replaced, what does that say about your commitment to anyone's development? And here's the worst part. This all could have been avoided. Shedeur Sanders walked into the NFL with all the tools. He wasn't a project. He wasn't a raw athlete learning the position. He was a polished, experienced quarterback who had already proven he could lead a team, handle pressure, and deliver results. The smart move was to put a system around him, commit to building a future, and ride out the bumps along the way. Instead, the Browns are flirting with the idea of starting over. Again, they're falling in love with potential while ignoring actual progress. They're listening to the same recycled takes from media figures who have made a career out of hedging. And in the process, they're actively alienating the one quarterback who might actually have the tools to change the franchise's trajectory. And fans are over it. They're not just disappointed. They're furious because they know how rare this is. They know how hard it is to find a quarterback with real franchise upside. And they know that if Sanders walks away or is pushed out, he's going to land somewhere else and thrive. And when that happens, Cleveland's going to be left with another reminder that their biggest obstacle isn't bad luck. It's bad decisions. They being the blame, it's going to fall exactly where it belongs. On the front office that couldn't commit. On the coaching staff that stayed silent. On the media voices who downplayed the progress and fueled the doubt. And on a franchise that once again chose fear over faith. This is what happens when you build a culture that doesn't know how to support young quarterbacks. When every mistake is a referendum. When every interception leads to speculation. When every draft class is treated like an escape hatch instead of a backup plan. And Shedeur Sanders deserves better. He deserves a team that sees what it has and builds on it. A coach who says he's our guy and means it. A front office that spends more time building around him than scouting his replacement. Because quarterbacks don't grow in confusion. They grow in confidence. And Cleveland right now is offering none. If this doesn't change, and soon, then the next step is obvious. Shedeur leaves. Maybe not today. Maybe not next season. But eventually, the message will land. That no matter how well he plays, he's always going to be treated like a backup plan. And when that happens, he'll walk. And he'll be right to do it. Because while Cleveland is stuck searching for the perfect prospect, other teams will be more than happy to invest in what Shedeur already is. A proven, high-upside, battle-tested quarterback with the tools to lead. And when that happens, when Sanders is suiting up for a team that actually knows how to support a young QB, nobody will be able to say they didn't see it coming. Because this isn't a mystery. It's not even subtle. It's happening in real time. And if the Browns don't course correct, they're going to lose more than a quarterback. They're going to lose credibility. They're going to lose fan trust. And they're going to lose the one shot they had at finally ending the quarterback carousel for good. They have the talent. They have the opportunity. What they don't seem to have is the courage to commit. Let us know your thought below. Should Shedeur stay and tough it out? Or should he move on before Cleveland does what Cleveland always does? If you're just as frustrated watching this unfold, hit like. Share this with someone who remembers the last Browns quarterback who got pushed out too soon. And subscribe so you don't miss the next time a franchise throws away its future before it even gets started. Because right now, that's exactly where this is headed. And nobody's going to be surprised when it happens. At this point, the only real surprise would be if the Browns didn't ruin this. Seriously, when was the last time this franchise recognized what they had before it was too late? When was the last time they chose development over dysfunction? Shedeur Sanders isn't just the next man up. He's one of the few who's actually earned a long-term look. But instead of planting the flag and saying, "This is our guy," Cleveland is out here window shopping quarterbacks like they're browsing on Amazon at 3 a.m. It's exhausting. Not just for the fans, but for anyone who actually wants to see talent develop in this league. Because here's the thing that no one in that building seems to grasp. Potential doesn't mean anything if you're not willing to be patient. The Browns have become so obsessed with chasing the next big thing that they forget how rare it is to have someone like Sanders already in the locker room. Someone who's already shown he can do the job. Someone who walked into a historically unstable franchise and brought calm to the storm. That's not normal. That's not luck. That's a player who should be getting every resource, every ounce of belief, and every opportunity to succeed. But instead, he's getting cold shoulders and replacement rumors, and not just behind closed doors. This is happening in public. The media coverage isn't helping either. When someone like Mary Kay Cabot shrugs off Sanders' early progress with lines like, "It's too early to tell," it adds fuel to the fire. Not because she's wrong to want more evidence, but because the framing makes it seem like the bar is impossibly high. Like no amount of early success is enough to even earn a chance at being the guy. And what does that do? It validates the indecision. It tells the franchise that waiting is fine, that hedging their bets is normal, that it's okay to treat a quarterback with franchise-caliber upside like he's just a placeholder. So that's not journalism. That's enabling. Let's stop pretending this is about due diligence. This is about fear. It's about a franchise that's failed so many times. It doesn't know how to recognize progress when it's staring them in the face. So instead, they default to what's safe, scouting the next class, floating anonymous reports, and keeping their options open. But at some point, you've got to make a choice. Because this isn't just about one quarterback's future. It's about the entire direction of the team. Every time Cleveland drafts a quarterback, fans hear the same thing. He's different. He's special. We're going to build around him. And then, the minute things get tough or a new name pops up in college headlines, the commitment evaporates. The coach starts talking about competition. The front office leaks a rumor to the media. And the cycle begins again. It's not just a bad strategy. It's franchise malpractice. And here's where it gets even worse. Let's say the Browns do go quarterback in 2026. Let's say they throw away Sanders' development for another rookie with hype and promise. Then what? You're right back at the starting line. Another young player learning the system, adapting to the speed. Try and win over a locker room that's seen this story on repeat. There's no continuity, no identity, just a constant churn of what-ifs and might-bests. Meanwhile, teams that stuck with their guys through ups and downs are building real, lasting success. Not because they found unicorns, but because they committed. Josh Allen didn't look elite in year one. Trevor Lawrence didn't immediately light up the league. Even Joe Burrow needed time to adjust before taking the Bengals to the Super Bowl. What made those teams different? They didn't flinch. They didn't panic. They stayed the course. And now they're reaping the rewards. And yet here's Cleveland, once again ready to bail before the ink dries. The irony in all of this is that Shedeur Sanders is the type of quarterback Cleveland's been trying to find for years. Efficient, intelligent, calm under pressure, a leader, someone who's not just here to play quarterback, but to be the quarterback. That's what makes this so painful to watch. It's not that he's struggling. It's not that he hasn't shown enough. It's that he has. And the team is still acting like he's disposable. If this organization had a track record of developing QBs, maybe this conversation would be different. But they don't. Their history is littered with names that were supposed to be the one. All of them discarded before they could fully grow. All of them used up and replaced in the name of future potential. And if they keep doing this, Shedeur won't just be another name on that list. He'll be the one who makes them regret it the most. Because the truth is, he will succeed. Somewhere. If it's not in Cleveland, it'll be with a team that knows what to do with real talent. A team that doesn't need 3 years of perfection before it decides to commit. A team that doesn't fold under media pressure or draft buzz. And when that happens, when he's thriving in a system that trusts him making plays and winning games, Cleveland won't be able to say they weren't warned. This isn't just a cautionary tale in progress. It's practically a case study. A young quarterback does everything right. The fan base gets behind him. The media starts whispering. The coach says nothing. The front office hesitates. And just like that, it's over before it even began. It's tragic. And more than that, it's predictable. If the Browns want to stop being the punchline, they have to start learning from their own history. They can't keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. They can't keep chasing the perfect quarterback while pushing out the good ones they already have. Because if Shedeur Sanders walks, if this team fumbles another franchise-level talent, there won't be any defending it. Not from the fans, not from analysts, and not from the league. It'll just be more proof that Cleveland isn't serious about building something real. Just more evidence that they don't know what to do with talent when they have it. Just more confirmation that the dysfunction isn't going away anytime soon. This is a defining moment. Keep playing scared, and you lose Sanders. You lose the fan base. You lose credibility. Or step up, admit he's shown enough, and actually build around him. That's the choice. And there's no middle ground. At this point, calling a potential fumble doesn't even do it justice. What the Browns are doing with Shedeur Sanders isn't just a misstep. It's a full-blown organizational failure in slow motion. The kind of failure that becomes a reference point, a cautionary tale, a punchline in highlight packages 10 years from now, and every single piece of it is self-inflicted. Let's start with what Shedeur has already proven. He walked into one of the most historically unstable quarterback situations in the entire league, and instead of folding under the weight of it, he held his own. He didn't just survive, he competed. He managed a game, made smart reads, showed maturity beyond his years, and most importantly, gave the Browns something they haven't had in forever: hope. And yet here we are, with an organization that's already looking past him, a coaching staff that won't give him a firm endorsement, a front office that's reportedly circling the 2026 draft like it's some golden ticket, and a media chorus led by voices like Mary Kay, casting doubt and sowing uncertainty, all while pretending they're just evaluating objectively. This isn't evaluation. This is erosion. It's a slow chipping away at a player's standing, masked behind cautious phrasing and what-if hypotheticals. And it's so familiar, because the Browns have done this exact thing before. But this time feels worse, not just because of who Shedeur is, but because of how avoidable it all is. He's done the work. He's shown the traits. And rather than commit, the team is turning its back on the very thing it claims to be searching for. And for what? Another quarterback in 2026 that may or may not be a fit. Another 2-year development cycle that might not even pan out? Are we really pretending that ditching a promising young QB for someone with less experience is long-term thinking? It's not. It's panic disguised as planning. And the worst part is they're dragging Sanders through it in real time. Because let's be honest, we're exploring options quote, every mock draft with Cleveland taking a quarterback, every hesitant press conference from Stefanski, it's all sending a message. And that message is clear: you're not the guy. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Camp. And what does that do? It kills growth. It kills momentum. It kills locker room trust. Because when the quarterback isn't backed, the team feels it. The receivers, the linemen, the defense. They all start wondering how long the leash is. How long before the team resets again? How long before they're wasting another season adjusting to a new guy with a new style and a new system? This isn't just about one player. It's about a pattern that's kept Cleveland stuck in a cycle of almost and never worse for decades. A pattern where talent doesn't get developed. It gets doubted until it walks out the door. And fans are tired of it. You don't have to be a football savant to see what's happening here. Sanders hasn't been perfect. No rookie is. But he's shown enough to warrant belief. The Browns should be building around him, protecting him, feeding him confidence. Not shopping for his successor like it's Black Friday. And yet the silence in the coaching staff is deafening. No strong quotes of support. No, this is our quarterback moment. Just vague, non-committal language that gives them an out. That lets them pivot, again, if things get uncomfortable. But here's the thing. Great teams don't flinch when things get uncomfortable. They dig in. They put their arms around their young guys and say, let's grow through this. Cleveland? They don't even wait for the storm. They check the weather app, see clouds, and start packing up camp. And we all know where this ends if they don't course correct. It ends with Shedeur on another team. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next season, but eventually, because no competitor is going to stay in a place where their best isn't good enough to believe in, and Way's out there making plays for another franchise when he's thriving in an offense designed around him. Cleveland is going to realize what it let go, and they'll deserve every bit of that regret. Because again, this is all happening while he's doing well. This isn't a story about a guy who's struggling or in over his head. This is a guy who has already shown he has the tools, and who just needs the time and trust to keep developing. But trust is the part Cleveland never seems to get right. Whether it's the fans, the media, or the locker room, it's hard to maintain belief when the people at the top won't say the quiet part out loud. That they have something special. That they've finally found a quarterback who could be it. But instead of celebrating that possibility, they're treating it like a temporary solution. Like Shedeur is just a bridge to whatever college kid might break out next year. That's not just disrespectful. It's reckless. It's the kind of short-term thinking that wrecks franchises. The kind of indecision that poisons locker rooms. And the kind of mistake that haunts a city. Honestly, The clock is ticking. Because while the Browns are floating trial balloons and watching draft film, the locker room is watching too. So is the league. So is Shedeur. And every day that passes without a clear commitment is another day he's being told, without words, that he's expendable. And if that's how Cleveland wants to play this, fine. But they better not act blindsided when he leaves. They better not claim they did everything they could when he signed somewhere else. They better not try to rewrite the story when he's winning with another franchise that actually believed in him. Because this isn't complicated. It's not a mystery. This isn't a tough call that requires analytics and 3 more seasons of tape. This is a quarterback who's shown the traits, who's shown the ability, who's shown the drive. And all he's asking for is a chance. A real one, not a trial run, not a prove-it stretch. A real opportunity to be the face of the franchise. So Cleveland needs to make a choice, and fast. Because every day they hedge, every rumor they allow to hang in the air, every draft conversation they entertain, is another day they risk losing a player who could actually fix what's been broken for years. And maybe that's the scariest part of all. Because if Shedeur Sanders wasn't working, the team could at least justify moving on. But the fact that he is working and they still can't commit, that says more about the Browns than it does about him. That says this franchise still doesn't know how to handle success when it arrives wearing a rookie jersey. Let us know what you think. Is this just more the same from Cleveland? Is Shedeur right to stay patient? Or should he already be planning his exit strategy? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit like if you had enough of the Browns mishandling every promising quarterback they touch. Share this video with someone who swore this time would be different. And subscribe if you want the full breakdown on every NFL meltdown, media fiasco, and front office disaster. Because if the Browns don't get together soon, they're going to lose more than a quarterback. They're going to lose their shot at redemption. Again.